So oftentimes with transition in general, there is a very tricky component of that. And that is actually figuring out whether you're trans in the first place, right? That can be hard to process because all the people around you would likely have been cis growing up. So what do you turn to see yourself represented in a way, an experience you can relate to in a sense? Well, of course, media in general can kind of do that purpose. That can be video games, books, movies, anything. So, a topic that's not always discussed on transgender YouTube channels is what helped me figure out I was trans. So, I'm going to do this through the lens of media I consumed that helped me figure it out. Nothing too crazy. So, I'm going to go through media that helped me. These aren't all characters that are explicitly transgender. They're just people and characters that helped me figure out I was transgender. But there are plenty of trans characters included, of course. As usual, this will be off the cuff and fully improvised. But this time with the funny avatar on the screen because the algorithm likes it when I do that, apparently. So let me know, do you prefer these kind of videos with just me talking as audio only, or do you want the funny avatar waving their hand around? Well, without further ado. So I guess we should go kind of chronologically, but not really. So we'll go with characters I was exposed to as a really little kid, and then we'll work our way to stuff I was exposed to as a young adult. So, picture this. I was born in 1999, right? So as you can imagine, trans media wasn't really a thing yet. Other than like really specific gender bend anime that I was too young to watch, so I didn't know about them yet. But one fateful day, this happened. A Pokemon game asked me if I was a boy or a girl. Now, my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Sapphire, which had this protagonist in it. And like, I thought she was very cool. However, things all changed when the next Pokemon game came out and the protagonist looked like this. The gender envy was off the charts, lovely audience. So as a result, when a DS game I got in 2007 on Christmas, and I saw the option, are you a boy or a girl? Now, I guess no one ever asked me till that point. I know it's a really simple thing a game has to do because they can't detect your gender or whatever. But I guess it felt special that anything at all decided to ask me. I guess that showed how little support there was at the time, I guess. Because no one real asked me. That would have been too easy. So as a result, I hid girl a lot. But sometimes I picked the boy because my friends got on my back a little bit. So I felt self-conscious. But I think gradually I'd pick the girl more often than not, but I'd keep re-downloading the game over and over and over. Not re-downloading, restarting the game, sorry. So there was a specific point in the game where Pokemon contests are introduced. And if you don't play Pokemon, that's okay. All these are is kind of like beauty shows. Like, you know how like there's like beauty contests for dogs? It's kind of like that, but it's Pokemon. So in the game, you get given a special outfit. At the time, I was playing as the boy. And the game swaps you into a tuxedo. A very fly tuxedo, I must say. But when I saw that, that kind of flicked a switch. I realized I don't want to wear that. I never want to wear something like that. So, I deleted my save file on the spot. And then I played as the girl and got up to the exact same point to see what outfit she would get. And behold, gender envy. Oh, this dress did things to me. Ooh, the memories, the euphoria, the dysphoria as a result of not being able to wear that. If I ever do a cosplay of Dawn, I'd love to do her contest dress. That'd be like fulfilling the childhood dream. That'd be pretty cool. But no, I love this dress. And I played the Pokemon contest minigames all the time. Around the same time, I was playing Nintendogs, which is a game kind of marketed more so to casual gamers and women due to, you know, games not being marketed to women typically. Which was something that confused me as a little kid, I guess, because I was starting to realize I was a girl. But all the video games weren't marketed to me, I guess. Nintendogs was an exception, and I adore Nintendogs. I had a great time. It's probably my most played DS game other than Pokemon. But that was pretty euphoric to play something because when I played it, I got to play it with other girls. It was the first time I got to play a video game with other girls. That's a big deal. Now I know claiming Nintendogs trans my gender is kind of absurd, but Nintendogs holds a special place in my heart as it was really an icebreaker for me to talk to other women around me, because most of the people like Nintendogs were girls, and it allowed me to talk to girls more. And through that, I guess, less so the game itself, but through that social experience of playing a game with girls, it made me realize I was also a girl, you know? So no, Nintendogs itself didn't trans my gender. However, the social opportunity it gave me, I think that did. So that covers roughly when I was about 7. For people that don't know my backstory, and that's fair. Most people probably, it's first video, fair enough. Expecting you to have seen the others is silly, and I won't do that. So around the time I was like 7, which is when I played these games, my egg kind of cracked. I was kind of sorted. I was sneakily wearing girls' clothes out of closets, and I was having a great old time. I was pretty secretive about it at this point, but I knew. I don't know if this is a category of trans media, but a lot of YouTube stuff started being something I frequently watched because YouTube was all the rave. It kind of still is. Makeup videos were pretty mind-blowing to me. I would watch these boy to girl makeup tutorials on repeat. I swear, like so much. I might overlay footage that I really enjoy from other videos, maybe. Or I might not. Find out. But no, these were a pretty big deal. Other stuff in around that era, I'd say, was around the time I was getting into Disney Channel sitcoms in particular, and cartoons. I'd say the two that kind of helped my transition the most. There's way more than 2. Oh no, I just realized there's a rabbit hole about to emerge. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so the movie Camp Rock blew my mind. I loved that movie. And I could relate to the main character who felt like she wanted her voice to be heard, but it wasn't because she was shy. And that obviously is not a trans allegory, but I related to it as a trans allegory. That's what I'm saying. Oh, and I'm pretty sure little kid me definitely had a crush on the Jonas Brothers. Yeah, probably. Well, anyway, there was also Wizards of Waverly Place, which was a really cool show about magic and stuff, and had a strong female protagonist. This was pretty new to me at the time. I mean, most women were usually portrayed as very uptight and strict, right? Whereas the main character, Alex, is very laid back and funny. And, well, I'm pretty goofy. So I guess I related to that in a way. So that made me feel better about being a girl. Because all the cartoons always showed the girl as like the tattletale, like the one that spoils the fun or whatever. And I didn't relate to that, I guess. So Alex meant a lot to me. Very cool. I was obsessed with Selena Gomez's music too. I would like secretly sing along to the songs under my breath in my bed. And with my Nintendo DSi, I photoshopped my face onto Selena Gomez. I am very sorry. The things we do for Euphoria. So, another show that came out around the same time. No, it's a bit later. There's a movie called Teen Beach Movie. I like Teen Beach Movie. This isn't related to my transition a lot. I just wanted to tell you it's a good movie. Anyway. Those shows meant a lot to me. Kim Possible was also a Disney cartoon that Also showed me like strong women in media. They're pretty cool. That meant a lot to me because she does cool flips. I want to do cool flips. I still never learned to do cool flips. One day I'll do cool flips. Promise. You can send this video to me in a few years if I don't learn to do cool flips. I will learn to do cool flips. So we've kind of exited the a little kid kind of realm. Granted, stuff like Toph from Avatar also helped me dispel some stereotypes about women. Very cool. Thanks, Toph. And just general media. Nothing was mind-blowing me, I guess. So we enter what I'm going to refer to as the high school era. Which is roughly when I started telling people, being openly a girl, that kind of thing to certain people. Secretly dressing up and going to the shops, that kind of stuff. So I got pretty obsessed with anime and games and stuff. And I noticed very quickly that a lot of these anime portray gender bending, like a lot. Now, these weren't amazing trans representations because it always portrayed characters that didn't want to become a girl but were forced to, and I always didn't get that, I guess. Mentally, I was like, why would he not want to be a girl? I want to be a girl. So I guess that line wasn't quite there for me yet, but notable examples would be Hideyoshi from Baka to Test. Probably if I watched it now, I don't think I'd like it as trans rep. Because all of it's just Hideyoshi complaining about being in these situations that I wanted so badly. So it doesn't really work in that way. However, there was a bit of media I did get to consume that made a pretty impactful difference. So on my PlayStation Vita, I had a little game called Persona 3 Portable, and that is a re-release of a PS2 game, but this time you can play as a girl. And this was actually pretty huge for me. Big RPGs and adventure story games, usually the protagonist is always a man. So it was actually really good for me to dissemble a lot of stereotypes about femininity and masculinity, because it's the same story whether you pick the guy or the girl. It's just a little different. And I guess that made me realize that I could still be myself as a girl. Things would just be a little different. Not completely different. It's not like we're on different planets or something, you know? So being able to play as a girl in that kind of setting, and also play as a schoolgirl while I was at school, I think was pretty impactful to process, oh, I could be a schoolgirl, you know? I could be a girl. Cool. Also, I think it's the first time I guess confronted possibly liking men. As I mentioned in other videos, my sexuality is a mystery at the moment. But I think generally I can safely say I like men that way. And I think this game was a catalyst for that, which indirectly affected my transition. Not really sexuality separate, but processing sexuality can help clear gender. So, depends, you know? Also, if anyone wants to play Persona 3 and they happen to be sapphic, just know there are mods to make the game very gay. So they got your back. Okay. So anyone can experience the adventure. Okay. So now, I was seeing YouTube videos about this game called Guilty Gear in the 2010s. There's this character called Bridget. Was Bridget good trans rep back in the day? No, but she was so cool. I love this. She was so like upbeat, fun, had cool yo-yos and plushies and things I liked, and I thought Bridget was so cool. I watched the story cutscenes over and over and over. I wanted to get a copy really bad, but I didn't know where to get it. And then I frustratingly learned years later, it was just on the PlayStation Store. I could have just grabbed it. But no, instead I bought Under Night in Birth and played it once. Cool. So, as a result, Bridget meant a lot to me. And as you might know, she's a lot more popular nowadays because they explicitly made her transgender later through, like, retooling the story a bit to fit a trans narrative. And I love trans Bridget. Trans Bridget's cool. And it felt really, I guess, satisfying. Is that the word? Yeah, satisfying. To see a character I love so much come back in a game I actually played. And get to be a girl. And I think like the partner arcade mode where she just kind of processes being afraid of change, well, that's pretty relatable. So, let's go a bit further now. Oh, this microphone's not being fair. Okay, so we're going a little further in the timeline. So, we're at the end of high school, and a couple of anime started springing up. We have Wandering Sun, Horo Musuko. If you like trans manga, you've probably read this. It could be argued as like an innovator within like queer manga in general, just for doing the topic in general. Like I love this one because it was so chill and like cool, and while I dislike how the manga ends because of what they did with a certain character, overall I felt like it was a really beautiful narrative and I related to it a lot. However, eventually they made Bokugirl, which I like a lot more. Now, everything else like did little punctures in my egg, just a little bit, like little punctures in my egg, slowly cracking the egg. Bokugirl was like a train that just came in. This annihilated any egg I had left. I'm not even kidding. Okay, so let me explain why this random manga that's not really safe for work, but kind of safe for work for the most part, except for really specific chapters, cracked my egg. So, a big issue with transition often is denial. Because you know who you are, but it's hard to act on it. I knew I was a girl since I was 8, but I was too afraid to do it, right? Like, I was too afraid to make the big steps like hormones and other things. Also because people didn't let me, but, you know. Trans teenager moment, yay. But basically, this is the story of the character named Mizuki, who is adamant and convinced that they are in fact a manly man. However, they couldn't live up to the masculinity stereotypes put on them. However, randomly, they're basically given the body of a cis woman suddenly. And I guess what I love about it is this egg is so in denial that she literally gets turned into a cis woman and is convinced that she's still not trans. Like, I guess that hit me. Like, if I was granted the exact body I wanted, would I have still been in denial? I guess. And I guess a lot of the scenes, especially there's one scene that really stuck with me where she like moves to like the girls' dorm and she gets handed like a cup of tea and like some soft plushies and flowers, and she sits there and she just kind of says to herself, oh, this is pretty nice. That really stuck with me, I guess. It's scary to do girly stuff when people tell you you're not supposed to, and then you actually do it and you're like, oh, yeah, this feels pretty right, actually. Huh. You know? I think that just really helped my own trans journey, I guess. Also, please don't point out that the love interest that I pick in Persona 3 is very similar archetype to the guy in Bokugirl. Do I like jocks? Oh no. But essentially, that is the biggest egg crack of all. The giantest of all egg cracks. However, what about meteor I consumed after my egg cracked? If you want a really good egg cracking, I really recommend this visual novel called Our Life, Beginning and Always. Because you can play as a trans girl and have your character transition throughout the game. All you gotta do is pick certain pronouns, and then each game has different time skips, and at the time skip, just swap to a different pronoun and the game will acknowledge the difference. And then later on in the game, they'll ask you if your character has like done hormones or breast augmentation or that kind of thing. They'll just ask like, hey, did you do that earlier? Yeah? Okay, cool. Transitioned. So it's a pretty cool game for that. All the love interest options are men, but the developer is making a sequel with an MB and cis woman love interest. So look forward to that for the sapphics out there. So that is that's the video. That's at least all I can remember right now. Yeah. So it all meant a lot to me. I know it's silly little media stuff. You know, there's some minor ones I didn't mention, or major ones but I didn't get time to mention. Like, obviously Talia from League of Legends was a really big impact for me. There was that movie Boy Meets Girl, which is a huge thing for me, just seeing someone like me on screen. You know, it was a big thing. All of it meant a lot to me. And that media list grows and grows. And it's really cool to see yourself represented. Whoever you are, you know? It makes me happy that more trans media exists. And I hope all sorts of media inspire you for who you want to be. It's important to see yourself on the screen, on the page, on anything, really. So, if any of these media things is something you want to check out, I recommend doing so. Some stuff has aged better than others, so definitely check, obviously. But that's my trans journey through the lens of media, I guess. Sorry for not mentioning books explicitly that often. The only book that really affected my transition was this one, which was... Why am I forgetting the title? I have it right here. Yeah, If I Was Your Girl. I love that book. But I read that after I've long since cracked, so I didn't feel like including the list was fair. But there's a couple of trans books like that. You Gotta Chill, and many others. So, I hope you enjoyed this look of transmedia and my transition through it. Did you know I made transmedia? I make a webcomic. I'm pretty proud of it. It's nothing crazy, but I'm proud of it. And I guess this is technically transmedia. Well, for someone else, is this their transmedia? That's a lot to think about. Well, regardless, I hope you enjoyed me rambling and the background music that I probably end up looping later. I am off. Oh yeah, before I forget, you know, most of the music's from this MMO called Pangea. Yeah, I completely forgot to mention them, but there's this character called Nell in Pangea. Now, they're like explicitly like assigned male at birth but present femme anyway, and their gender is very vague. But that character meant a lot to me. So I may not know what their gender's intended as, but I could relate in a way. And that's what matters. Well, which by the way, that's also the background I always use is from that game too. It's weird I didn't mention that, huh? Well, yeah, Nell's pretty cool. Anyway, I will depart because I'm bad at ending videos. Stay hydrated and know you're valid. Be sure to subscribe for more videos such as voice tutorials, ASMR roleplays, and anything trans related. I will see you next time. Farewell.